in my career, I was the pop music critic for, respectfully, the St. Petersburg Times and then the Tampa Tribune. In that role, I had frequent contact with up-and-coming local bands that always believed in their heart of hearts that they would be the next big thing. A few of them, such as Savatage, the Johnny G. Lyon Band, the Headlights, and the Bobby Frist Band, even achieved a modicum of commercial and regional success at the time. But the thing that drove me crazy about almost all of them was one and the same. They knew and understood bupkis about the business they were in. They made horrendous deals with managers, nightclubs, promoters, and record labels. They put no effort into self-promotion, assuming that if they played great in their garages and warehouses, the world would know about them and beat a path to their door. I'd hear about this because many would complain when their appearances at local clubs or in concert weren't publicized in the paper. I'd ask, did you send in a press release or an announcement? No, came the standard reply. Everybody knows about us. Well, if everybody included mom, dad, and the stoner chicks down the block, maybe so. But the rest of us didn't know squat about them. So when Loren Weisman's new book, The Artist's Guide to Success in the Music Business, recently crossed my desk, it was an easy yes to having Loren on the show. Loren Weisman, welcome to Mr. Media.
Thank you, Mr. Media.
Good to have you here. Thanks for stepping in for us.
Oh, no problem. Happy to be here.
Loren, I'm admittedly about 20 plus years, maybe more, removed from being a music writer. But somehow I suppose that musicians haven't changed much. And if they had, you wouldn't have needed to write this book.
Not at all. You know, it's funny, even being 20 years removed, a lot of musicians are still following what they learned or what they watched 20 years ago and not realizing it's not the same game, it's not the same industry, it's not the same business, but the mistakes they're making are, well, 20 years too old.
Is it, what is the problem? Is it ego? Or do they, do guys go into bands, and then women too, but mostly we think of guys, I think. Do they go into bands to escape doing business by the book? What's the excuse?
Some of it might be that escape, but a lot of it mixes in with delusions of grandeur. You see somebody on TV as you're growing up. You think, I want to play the arenas. I want to have the screaming girls. I want to have the millions of dollars, the houses, the yachts, the alcohol, whatnot. Nobody thinks about what's happening behind the scenes, what it actually takes to get there. And even their glorified heroes, a lot of times they don't know the stories behind those heroes, and that a lot of those heroes right now are pretty broke. I mean, if you've noticed, Bob, a lot of bands from 20 years ago are back out on the road right now, and I doubt that all of it's just being reminiscent and having fun. I think some of them actually need to be out there making money again.
I know when I was in college, the band story that we used to hear a lot of was about Cheap Trick. This was early 80s, that they worked like 350 nights a week on the road, and they built their rep that way. And, they're still out now, but they're doing things, I think, more the way they want to do them. But, that was hard work. It may not look like it when you see them come to your town and they're on stage, rocking out and, doing their thing. But when you think about them doing it 300, 320, 350 times a year, you got to have a commitment to, you got to have a good work ethic to pull that off.
Oh, it takes a lot more work than the average person thinks. Again, they see this image of relaxing on the beach and all the elements that almost don't have to do with music. And then there are musicians that just imagine I can practice my craft 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and then perform and live the life I want to. But today, it has to be a mix of business and creative. The two sides have to meet. Left brain has to hang out with right brain.
And the business has changed, I know, a tremendous amount in the last 5-10 years it was, you made money. It used to be records, and it was, audio cassettes and CDs and DVDs. And with the digital music revolution, people don't have to, it doesn't work that way anymore.
It doesn't, but it also, with the digital music, with the internet, there are a lot of other avenues that artists aren't as aware of, and if they could become aware of them, it would bring them profit. It would bring them revenue, which potentially could get them out on the road like Cheap Trick and playing more often.
So, okay, let's talk about that. I'm in a band. I'm listening to this conversation. What should I be doing that I'm probably not doing at the moment?
Right now, you need to be empowering yourself and learning about what the industry is. There are 40 million plus bands on MySpace, and a lot of these artists go with the mindset of, as soon as they hear this song, they're going to take me to the top. As soon as they see the band play live, we are just the most amazing thing. Everything's going to be taken care of. And that's a wonderful dream, but what these bands need to concentrate on is how are they getting to the point of being heard or being seen? It's not the music. Of course, the music is the foundation and the root, but it's the content, the graphics, the marketing, the promotion, the branding that's bringing people into a very oversaturated market to look at someone and say, okay, maybe they stand out. It really is about standing out initially from areas outside of music to get people in to hear your music.
Do somebody in their 20s today, do they still think about that they have to be pure and not commercial and not not with sponsors and marketing and all that kind of stuff? I mean, I remember. I'm sorry. I remember when Jovan, the cologne company, sponsored the Rolling Stones in the 80s, and that was a huge moment in the commercialism of pop music because, oh my God, they sold out. Yeah, well, they got Jovan to pay all their expenses on the road, put money in their pocket, and the world was never the same.
Unfortunately, licensing, sponsorships, endorsements are a crucial part of things today, especially for artists. If an artist can get 30 seconds of the end of a song or the middle of a song, even without vocals, licensed into a commercial, there's licensing money. If you can get a sponsorship from any of these companies so that you're showing up potentially in a movie or a TV show or anything, it's more opportunities. We're not living in the industry of 20 years ago, unfortunately, and even artists, John Cougar Mellencamp is a perfect example. He licensed that This Is Our Country song a couple years back, and I saw some reports that he made more on that deal than he did off his first 3 records combined.
Well, that's a great example. I was just thinking about Prince a few years ago, more than a few years now, when he took back all of his music rights. He allowed his contracts to expire, took back all his music rights, created his own digital kingdom. And then we've had other examples. And the band names will escape me now, but there was the band that put out its album and let you pay what you thought it was worth. The digital opportunity. Just like I make my living as a writer. I see the digital opportunity to control my intellectual property, and I use the term loosely, but to control it and profit from it, far greater opportunity than it was when publishing was controlled by a handful of print publishers, or in the case of music, a handful of music publishers and record studios.
Oh, absolutely, Bob. I mean, when you think about it, though, it's comparing yourself to situations of how can it apply to you. For example, Prince can sit there and put up a digital album, but how much money was put into Prince over the last 25 years. The band, it's funny, the band you're thinking of is escaping me too. They put up their album, and you chose what you could pay for it, and yet they were so well known before that it didn't matter, that whether someone was spending 5 cents, $5, anywhere in between, they had that mass of people. It's getting out there and doing different things with the internet, such as saying, you know what, next Thursday, come visit the site. If you buy any piece of our merchandise, a hat, a T-shirt, this or that, you're going to get a free download. Or on this time, on this day, we're giving away a free demo of pre-production of a song from a while ago. Giving away certain things that musicians are so scared to do, especially today, can lead you to greater opportunities. But everybody thinks, I need to make back all the money that I put into this CD or this project, and I need to charge as much as possible. I mean, not going on a tangent, but people need to take the prices of their CDs down, especially with the digital revolution, to say, hey, here's $10 for 15 songs. You know, I do that. This band I saw the other night, $22 for 14 songs. I said, no way.
Yeah.